Welcome to the Podcasting Challenge. Today we are on day 6, and today we're going to be talking all about building your website. So we're going to go through the whole PodUp software. Well, not the whole thing, but we're going to go through the website building part of it, which is a big chunk of the software. So I'm going to teach you how you can build your website, all the tips and tricks, and we're excited to get into it. I'm excited to see your guys' sites. So let's get into it. Welcome to this tutorial on how to use the Site Builder module. On the left-hand navigation, you're going to see one menu item called My Site. The first one is where we're going to go to choose our theme. Next is going to be the page builder. The page builder is where we are going to actually build and customize the pages of our website. Nav builder is the navigation builder. We can customize what we want to be in our navigation and how we want it to be ordered and set up. Then we have header and footer. Header and footer is where we can build out and customize how the look and feel of the header and footer will be. We can use the form builder to collect information. Then we have an image gallery and we have a post page builder. Post page builder is if you have a specific episode and they click on that episode, and then it will be the page once they click on that episode that you can customize the look and feel of that. We're going to first start out with my site theme. Once I'm in here, I can see that there are about 15 different themes I can choose from, all ranging from government, legal firm, motivational speaker, music, personal coach, different themes that we can play around with and customize. So each of these is fully customizable, but we give you a template so that you can start out with that to hopefully make the process a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and just select this classic theme. Once I've selected that, I can go ahead and choose a logo. So if I want to upload a logo, I can upload a file for the logo, and then it'll give me these little bubbles here. I can use these little bubbles here so that I can customize the theme that I want to use. So it's going to pick up the actual hex codes of the colors inside my logo, and then I can use that as the theme of my website if I would like. Next, we have the footer logo. So this is going to be a smaller version of your logo, or if you want to change it to be a different one that you can use in the footer of your website. Next, we can upload a favicon, and this is a small pixel icon used on web browsers to represent a website or a web page. So it's short for favorite icon, and it's usually displayed on the tabs at the top of a web browser, but they're also found on your browser's bookmark bar, history, and in search results. Next, we have the website OG image, and this is going to be the image that appears if somebody shares your website in a text message or online. It'll be the image that appears with that website in the link, so you can customize what image you want to go there. Next, we get to color. So here's where you can choose what color you want to use on your website. If you want to use one of the theme colors, if you want to customize the colors, you can add the different hex codes, delete them, or choose from the options we have available. You can customize the font here. So if I want to change the font family, the size, the spacing, or the color, I can do that for all of the headings, the second headings, as well as going down the list into paragraph. All of that text can be customized here. You can also do it in the page builder. So if you change your mind later, you don't have to come all the way back here to change it, but you can do it in the page builder as well. But this is just a way that you can do it globally so that it changes on every page that you have created, and then you don't have to do it one by one. Next, we have buttons. So if you want to change any of the buttons on your website, you can customize the color and the font, the alignment, the border, dimension, margins, all of that can be changed and updated here. Once we're done setting all of this up, the next place we're going to go is into Page Builder. Inside Page Builder, you'll see that there are many pages that are already created here for you. A lot of these you don't have to use, but you can use. So there's specific ones like your home page. This may show up in your account as index. Then you've got frequently asked questions. You've got a contact page, about page, podcast page. All of these you can utilize and customize or simply delete if you don't want to use them. There are some other pages you'll see in here like PodUp ads registration, privacy policy, sitemap, and then another one for terms and conditions. Some of these legal forms like terms and conditions and the privacy policy, these are actually going to be edited in this legal docs section. So in the legal docs section, you'll be able to to go in and answer questions, and it will help fill out a terms and conditions for you. And then this is the page that it will go onto for your website, so you can have your privacy policy and terms and conditions live on your website. All right, so next to these pages, you'll see a build icon and you'll see 3 dots here. So we'll start with the 3 dots. The 3 dots, we're able to preview the page. Then we're also able to edit. So we're going to click edit. And when we want to edit, we can change the title and the URL of that exact page. So if I want it to be, say my website is podproducer.com, this would be podproducer.com/home. Whatever you're putting in this box will be that /home or /podcast. Then you can add a description for the page, and if it is your homepage, you're going to want to make sure that you have this box checked. When you're ready, you can also add a header and footer. So when you customize that header and footer, you can choose from the different ones you've created to have specific header and footers showing on specific pages. We also have the SEO details. So if you want to write your meta title, meta description, keywords, and the status of it, whether it's published, draft, or pending review, you can select these here and make sure that you have your SEO up to date, and then whether you want it to be a published page. The other options you have in this menu bar are delete and clone. So if you want to make a second version of the page, because maybe you're making some changes to the website and you don't want to lose anything, you could clone the page or you can delete. Now we're going to click build. And within build, this is going to be the section that we actually fully customize and update the website. Once I get into the home page, I'm going to see all these different sections here. And for your guys' reference, we're going to call each of these sections components. So this latest episodes, this is actually a component. And this category section, this is a component. Each of these, we're going to refer to them as components. And I'll explain that here in a second. At the top here, we've got all these different menu items. The first one, this little plus button, this allows us to custom add elements. So if there are any elements that you don't have available that you want to add, such as an image or text, you can simply drag and drop that. And wherever you see the green line, that is going to be where it appears. We also have buttons that you can choose from and different layout items. So if I want to add a section in here that's 3 columns or a container or a row, I can simply drag that and add a row in this area. Next, we've got all these different components, and this will probably be the section that you want to pay the most attention to. So we've got many different components that you can choose from. So just like I explained to you earlier, each of these is called a component. And the reason we have these, they're sort of like a template for you to use. So you can choose any of the different styles that you want and choose what components you like, the format, the layout, anything you want, and you can choose to use those so that you don't have to actually go in and customize it yourself. So I'm in the about section of components right now. So I could choose and say, I really like this one. So I'm going to say, I want to use this. So I'm going to click to add it. And then I'm going to choose global style so that it takes those global settings that I changed of all of my fonts and my colors, all of that, and it's going to apply. So once I click apply, I will be able to scroll down to the bottom and I'll be able to see that section added here. So I've added that section down here at the bottom, and I can now customize however I want. But I can also just choose from so many different components here for blogs, for events, for podcast or reviews. All of these are different components you can choose from. An important thing to note is if you're ever trying to make a change to something and you get this little error. So say I want to change this image on episode 1. Say I don't want to use this image. When I click it, it's going to pop up and say this section is read only. Click here to edit. These are dynamic component sections. So once I click here, it is actually going to take me to the episode list. Another way to access this is going to be in publish and then going to episodes. This is going to be the section that you can actually edit that content. So I'm going to see this episode 1 here. And if I want to edit it, I'm going to click here, and then I can change the title, I can change the description, and I can change the image all from here. So this is going to be the section that I edit it rather than in the site builder. So all of these are called the dynamic sections. So we do not want to be trying to edit, and we won't be able to edit back in the actual page builder. We're going to be editing it in another part of the software. This is just so that whenever you're publishing an episode, you're able to actually publish it within another module without having to go go into your site builder and deal with, building out a site and changing everything here, you can do it in a simpler way. Same is going to go for other sections like resources. Resources is going to be something that you go and you can edit the resources in the menu under the grow section. And then you're going to go down to downloadable content. So you'll upload any of your downloadable content there, and then it will appear on your website here. So this is not going to be where I'm going to want to go and edit. I'm going to want to edit in the other sections. So this will be the same for podcast, video, blogs, reviews, resources, anything that you click on that says, hey, you can't do this, click here to edit. Once you click there, it will take you to the place where you can actually edit that content. Next section we're going to go into, this is where I can also come and manage different pages. So just like we were in the first part of this, where we were in this page builder section, I can come in and edit pages here. I can also just simply click here and navigate to other pages. I also have the ability to change some of the global design from here. So back at the beginning of this video, we were changing out colors and fonts and buttons. You don't have to go back to the very beginning to do that. You can come back and just click here and change any of that information as well. Then if I want to bookmark any components and come back and say, I like that component, I want to use it on other pages, I can simply just click on it and then click this little bookmark icon, and then it will appear here. And lastly, I can see the homepage history. So if I want to revert back to a different version, I can do that and restore the version of the page that I saved previously. So if I made any errors and I'm like, oh, dang it, I don't want to do that, I can revert back and restore to the original version. Next, we're going to see here at the top, we can just simply go through different pages. So if I want to move to my video page, I can click that and it will take me to building my video page. Right now, I'm viewing in the desktop view. I can also view it in a tablet view, and I can also view in a mobile view. So this is going to be important, especially when you're building your website, to see how it is looking in these different views. You really want to make sure that your site is going to be mobile friendly. So just make sure you check that out, see how it's looking, and make sure it's optimized for mobile view as well. Moving on to the right, we've got preview and save. So to preview it without it being in the builder, you can actually click preview and it'll show you the full page. And then you can also click save whenever you're ready to save the content, and undo and redo. And then we've got opening the code. So if you are a coder and you want to change anything in the code, you can do that. You can actually change it here on the far right, come in, make any changes, and then make sure that you click save down at the bottom. Lastly is going to be this eraser icon, and this is going to completely clear the page. Once it's erased, you will not be able to recover the page content, so just be careful and make sure you know that this is not going to be recoverable if I click yes. All right, let's get into some of the other items. So if I want to change this text, there are 5 different menu items we'll go through. The one you will be using likely the most is going to be these 3 lines with the 3 dots on it. I'm going to click there, and this is going to open up design settings and settings changes. So if I want to edit anything in here, like the dimensions, margins, padding of this particular section that I've selected, I can do that here. So if I want to change any of this text or font, I can just simply come here and change the font size, change the color of it. I can choose a color from here, or I can input a specific hex code color from my branding that I want to use here. Once I'm done, I'm going to click OK. Then if I want to align it and make it center or right justified or left justified, I can change that and also change the shadow. Inside the settings section, there's other settings, so you can change the background color or the border width. All of that can be updated here. Next in the menu, we've got this up arrow. The up arrow, if I click it, it's just going to choose the box outside of this one. So this is going to be important for things like if you're trying to create links. So if I'm trying to add a link to this Apple podcast so that anyone visiting my site clicks on it, if I just simply click here and then I click the 3 lines and I go to settings, this is not the URL that I'm going to need to add my Apple podcast for. This is actually the URL of this Apple podcast image. So what I'm going to want to do is click this little up arrow, and now it actually selects the whole box around it rather than the image. So now with this href, I can come in and I can put whatever link I want it to take them to, so that anytime somebody comes in and they click on Apple Podcasts, that will be the link that it takes them to. So kind of think of that as just helping to select smaller boxes. So if I'm on an image and I need to click the up arrow, it is now going to select the whole box around it. Next, we've got this up arrow and side arrows. This is just going to help us to move things around. So if I want to move a certain component or certain section around, I can do that. Now, if I wanted to clone something, so say I wanted to clone this, I can just duplicate it right there. And now I have another section. And lastly, here is the trash icon that we can use to delete a section. All right, I'm going to click save here on my page. And then we are going to navigate back to the navigation bar. If I want to work on the navigation of my site, I'm going to come to the navigation builder, and then I'm going to choose which navigation I want to edit. So if I have multiple ones, I can create multiple ones and then set one as a specific default. Same settings are going to be here. I can edit the name of it, or I can simply come in and click build. While I'm building, I can choose from different pages. So this is going to be the navigation structure. So if I want my home page to show up, I want my podcast page to show up, review page or video page, I'm going to select any of those pages I want and click add to navigation. Once that's done, it is now going to allow me to reorder these. So if I want my homepage to show up first, then my podcast and my video, I can also move those up. If I want one to appear under the other with a little drop down, then that is how I'm just going to have it be a little bit to the right. And now podcast would have a little arrow and then video would be under it. It would not be its own navigation item. It would be under the podcast navigation. So those are for the pages. If I want to have one of my posts be in the navigation, I can select one of my posts to be in the navigation. So that's going to be like a blog post or a video. And then lastly, I can have custom links. So say I have, a Shopify account or something that I want to link in my navigation. I'm going to put the URL here, and then I'm going to put the text that I want to show up. So that could be like shop. And then I put the URL right there, and then I would add that to the navigation. Once I'm done, I'm going to click Save Navigation, and I'll show you what that looks like on the front end view. So now you can see on the front end view, here's my home, my podcast, my video, and that index page. So this is how the navigation is going to appear. So you can fully customize the text and the order and how you want it to look on your navigation. Next, we're going to go into header and footer. Inside header and footer, I can choose my theme header and I can use my theme footer, or if I want to add a new one that's not going consistent with the theme I chose, I can add a new one. But right now I'm going to click build on the header, and it's going to work similarly to how we were just doing it in the pages. So I also have components here for my header. So if I'm like, I don't really like this one, I want to see what else is out there, I can choose one of these other headers and their styles and use that. But I can also change the colors. So you're going to use these 3 lines with the 3 dots again. And I can come and I can change, the background color, change it to be something else, make it red, make it black, make it white, whatever I want, change and add a specific hex code as well. I guess if I make it white, you can't read my text right now. So we're just going to make it go back to black. You don't want to change this text here. Just like I showed you back in the navigation, you're going to want to change the text there and in your page builder. So this is simply going to be the place where you're changing the design rather than changing any of the text here. And again, if I want to change any of that global design, global fonts or buttons, I can do that here at the top left. When I'm done, I'm going to click save. And then I would do the exact same thing for the footer. I'd click build and I'd follow those same steps. Now we're going to go into the form builder. So say I want to create a form where I am collecting subscriptions from my users. I can come and choose, I want to make a form. I can customize it. Say I want to collect their email. I want to add something else. Like say I want to add a block here. I want to add their phone number. I can choose their phone number. I can make them required. So there's this little icon here. If I click that, it's now going to make it a required field. And then I can customize the theme. So how I want it to look, the width, anything else here, how I want the text to look, and then what I want the submission success to look like. So right now it says sent successfully. I can also set up email notifications. And so if I want to receive an email when somebody submits something, I can add that or confirmation text, as well as any integrations. Once I've done that and I want to add one of those forms to my website, let's just go to the home page. Now we're going to go into forms. So there's a form section as well as a newsletter section. So it depends on what you're trying to do. But if you want a newsletter, you can use the newsletter section. So it's like join our email list, and then you can connect the form to that. We're going to use the forms for now. So I'm going to click to add a form. I'm going to do that global style. And then it allows me to select which form I want to do. So this is the form that I was just messing with and adding content to. So now I can see it here at the bottom. So I didn't really customize it to make it look that nice in the form builder, but you can customize it, make it look nice. But there it is with the questions I've added to it. And that is how the form now is connected. Anytime someone submits information on that form, you're actually going to go back into the form builder, and the way you will be able to see the information or see who has submitted anything is going to be right here. You'll see that there's submissions. Now we're going to go into the post page builder. So like I said, these are like the detail pages. So let me go to the front end of my website and explain this a little bit more. So if I'm clicking into episode 1, this is what is called the detail page. So if I want to edit this page in the style and what it looks like, I'm actually going to go, instead of into the page builder, I'm going to go to that post page builder that I was just showing you guys. So back on my site, we're going to go to that post page builder, and then I can come in and build it. So this is the one I'm using right now. And now I can customize what I want this page to look like. It's going to be the same way that you do everything with the page builder. So you've got the same components, you've got same settings, just going to be specific to the detail page. Wow, I know that was a lot of information about building your website, but I'm excited to see what you guys are able to create and what you're able to do. So today's action steps are going to be to create your website. So go ahead and get started on getting a homepage created, podcast page, and a video page. Maybe you add the other ones later. But if you don't have your logo yet, remember, just use a placeholder logo, use something else to kind of get you started, use the branding that you've picked out, and go ahead and get started on that website. And as you have any questions, like always, reach out to us at support@podup.com. We're excited to see you tomorrow for day 7.